I was always a quiet kid, but when my teacher pranked me and ruined my college scholarship, I decided to retaliate. I have been a straight A student ever since my mother threatened me that I couldn't play with my best friend if I got anything less than an A in every class, in every grade, forever. Some might say she was nuts for saying that, but to her credit, it worked. I'm now a senior in high school, and I'll be graduating with honors. I had been up all night studying for my finals and was in first period, Mr. Cravens' psychology class. I finished the final test early and decided to try and get a quick nap before heading to my next final. I was fast asleep and had no idea how much time had passed. I heard whispers and giggles and then tilted my head up off of the desk and saw 20 kids I didn't know pointing and laughing at me. Mr. Cravens thought it would be an interesting psychological experiment by letting me sleep into the next class. He signaled to all of the kids to stay quiet, then collectively point and laugh at my face when I woke up. It took me a few seconds to get my bearings, then I panicked. Not because of this stupid prank, because it was already 20 minutes into my next class and I had a physics test to take that was timed. I ran across the empty school hallways and finally arrived at my physics class. Mr. Hartsour glared at me with disgust and even whispered to me, "Despicable." I was 25 minutes late and I only had 20 more minutes to finish the hardest test I would be taking. I did my very best and knew I had to hurry, but I only got about halfway through when Mr. Hartsour said, "Put down your pencils." Immediately. He was staring at me when he said it, and I didn't have a choice. I went home in tears because I wanted to major in physics and couldn't have a bad test score on my final. A few days later, I got my test results and got a big fat F. I was heartbroken and angry. I asked Mr. Cravens if he would talk to my physics teacher and explain what he did and let me take the test again. Mr. Cravens said, "Nope, it's on you for falling asleep, you entitled brat." I pleaded, "Please, sir, I want to major in physics, and this could kill my chances of getting into the college I want." Mr. Cravens giggled and said, "You should have thought about that before you went snoozy, you lazy little turd." He had that annoying smirk on his face as if nothing he ever did was wrong. Then I realized it was time to get a little psychological payback on Mr. Cravens. The last day of school was the perfect moment. I was able to sneak into his class early that morning and started setting everything up. There was only one small window in his class that looked out at the downtown Los Angeles skyline. I set up a digital LED screen of the exact same view from the window of the downtown skyline and was even able to match the time of day and how many clouds were in the sky. It looked exactly like the real outdoors through the window. I then hid several tiny speakers under Mr. Cravens' seat and at strategic spots around the classroom. I had everything connected to my phone so I could completely control the visuals and the sounds. I was all set up and first period began. Mr. Cravens walked in with his normal smug face eating potato chips as usual. The other students filed in and everyone took their seats. I used some water and put a little across my brow as if I was sweating. I stood up and said, "Mr. Cravens, I'm really afraid." He looked at me, annoyed, and said, "About what?" I responded with a stutter, doing an Oscar-worthy performance. I said, "My father's in the military and told me not to go to school today because LA might be getting attacked." Mr. Cravens shook his head, not buying a word of it. The other students laughed and made jokes about me being a scared little twat. Then I pressed a few buttons on my phone and created the window LED screen to show airplanes dropping bombs all over the downtown Los Angeles skyline, along with major fireballs of explosions. I clicked the sound effects at the same time, and the loud rumbles of buildings exploding was piercing. Mr. Cravens' potato chips went flying and he peed all over himself. He never even thought about saving any of us kids. Half of the students hit the deck and the other half laughed, knowing it was fake. Once Mr. Cravens realized it was a prank, he stood up, covered in potato chips and piss, and glared at me. I flipped him off and walked out. I wasn't getting into my favorite college anyway.